Michigan State basketball absolutely, positively boat races Penn State out of Breslin Center in front of an alumni Izzone crowd. Also some football notes, and then we are joined by 2024 quarterback commit Alessio Milivojevic and his dad Ivan Milivojevic as well. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off of your first purchase. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. And yes, if you're watching on YouTube, you can already tell this is still a road game. This is not the home studio. This is actually probably the first ever in Locked On Spartans history. We're doing a live show right now. My mom is over there on the couch, just drowning me out right now as I ramble about Michigan State here. But yes, we will be back in the studio, well, for segments 2 and 3 with Alessio and Ivan Milivojevic. Now, of course, they had to help me with their last name, so come for that chat, and also come for the moment right off the bat where I couldn't decide if I wanted to say the word pronounce or enunciate. So I asked them, how do you pronunciate your last name? Really, really banger start for your boy over here. But yeah, again, segments 2 and 3 with our chat with the 2024 quarterback commit. Before getting to that, though, let's talk about basketball because I was questioning if Penn State was just going to get back on the bus at halftime during this one. 92-61. Quite frankly, not even a game that was that close. I know Penn State got it to like an 18-point game late, but no, it never materialized to really anything. And this was kind of right off the bat because let's just rattle off some stats right now from the game. Malik Hall, 15 points. Tyson Walker, 13 points, 5 assists, and 6 steals. And then Trey Holloman as well, 5 assists, and also putting someone on a poster with a tomahawk dunk. And oh, by the way, yeah, all those stats I just rattled off, those were just first half stats. These were just some career games from some guys in Malik Hall, namely who ended his game with tying his career high of 24 points. But also going back to the first half as a team, Michigan State's defense, of course, led by Tyson Walker and his 6 steals, generated 14 turnovers from Penn State in the first half. Michigan State got 20 points off of those turnovers. I can't imagine watching a team turn the ball over 14 times in a single half and not throwing your remote clean through the television. But if there are any Penn State fans out there that were able to stomach that game on Peacock, which I imagine there could not be more than 7 of which that did that, good for them. They showed strong restraint. Now let's talk about Malik Hall here because, we're not, you know what? Oh, would you look at that? Something just came across the mailbox at lockedonspartans@gmail.com, and Jeff writes in, you stuck with Malik Hall when many of us wrote him off. Fortunately, Izzo agreed with you. Take some credit. This team is rolling. Go green. Now, hey, look, we don't bat flip every correct thing that we say on this show because, look, we also get our fair share of things wrong on this show. We get some things right. But, hey, the Malik Hall thing, we're going to go ahead and take a second on this one right here because he was everyone's least favorite Spartan of all time as March ended. Now, let's go back to that March. Let's talk about why I was still kind of sky high on him. That was coming off of, I think, a back and a foot injury last year. Many that thought was going to end his season altogether. But he came back, fought through injury to be on the team because really there was no one else that was playing that position the way he did last year. Okay. James Madison game, not a great start, but forgive the guy for coming in his first game off of a surgery in the offseason and having a sluggish start. I get it. He ended last season on the wrong side of a highlight that Kansas State had and started it with just 4 points against James Madison. But ever since, I mean, again, 24 points tonight, 9 of 12 shooting, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for you as well, 3 steals, and just 1 turnover. But he's shown up in other games as well. I know I'm not just talking about the Indiana State game where he had 18 points, but God, if you remember that Indiana State game, an important 18 points as well. But the Nebraska game, and I get it, 22 points in a losing effort. The Duke game, 18 points also in a losing effort. But this is a guy that has been solid this year, and I'm just going to say it like this as well. he's your best interior scoring option. All right, it's not coming from the centers, the offense. No, when you need a bucket on the low block, it's not coming from the guys that play that position. It's coming from Malik Hall. So yes, thank you, Jeff, for remembering the nice things I said about Malik Hall, because I know that some people were like, "Are you getting paid by his agent? Are you in the family's pockets here? Or what's going on?" No, it was just a very unusual and unfortunate end to the season for him last year. And hey, he's an experienced player. He is your best scoring opportunity on that low block so far. So let's all just recognize what Malik Hall has done for this team, and hey, maybe even could continue to do for this squad. Now, other notes from this game. I feel like we're saying this more and more, but it just feels like the old Michigan State, or you could also say it as the team that we thought we were going to get going into the season right now, because you got 25 assists on 34 made baskets. And also you had 20 fast break points in the game. Just getting out in transition, running, using your athletes. And golly, did they use their athletes. Once again, Cohen Carr almost concussing himself on the rim. Trey Holloman having a dunk that I didn't even know was in his bag. But yeah, it just looked like the MSU of old. And also, Penn State. Oh my, we've got the rebuilding project going on there. That's yikes. Now, two other things. They're not necessarily negatives per se, but two other things that are storylines from this game. Xavier Booker played a sky-high 14 minutes and came out with 5 points. One of them was on a three-pointer in garbage time, and then 3 rebounds, no blocks. Really, I'm not trying to be Mr. Eeyore after a 30-point win, but we're kind of seeing like, okay, why he's not playing in some of these games, why that, hey, he got this much run finally in a game that Michigan State was never even threatened to lose. But the positive you could take out of it is that, hey, Michigan State was up 20, 30 points most of the game, and they were able to get him 14 minutes of development. But yes, you're going to want to see a little bit more motor, quicker on the quick side defense. There were some block opportunities that I thought that, all right, hey, here comes Xavier Booker. And he was just a beat too late. And Izzo let him know about that as he was jogging down the other end of the court. But I just wanted to point that out. 14 minutes for Xavier Booker. You could take it as a positive, as in, hey, that's a lot of minutes for him. And also maybe with the glass half empty approach of, okay, we kind of maybe saw why he's not really getting a lot of run. And the only other thing that I have to hit on right now, Steven Izzo, is it ever going to happen? Now, I do love the aggression of shooting a three-pointer from the Shaw Lane or the Shaw Hall cafeteria. Like that's some gumption from you, young man. I do appreciate trying to lay up against no less than 3 guys that were going to block you through the core of the court there at Breslin Center. But hey, I hope it happens. January 30th, we're still circling as a possible, but until then, time's running out for old Steven Izzo here. Now looking ahead, Sunday's game against Northwestern Michigan State, even though we are playing everyone's favorite player, Boo Booey. Michigan State is projected to win this road game by 4.3 points, according to BartTorvik.com. And I actually want to stay on BartTorvik.com here for a second, because earlier in the season when things were kind of spiraling somewhat sort of out of control, I started to panic a little bit, especially looking at Bart Torvik, where it says, oh my, we're favored to lose a handful of these games. Things have changed since this 5-game winning streak. Right now, if you go to BartTorvik.com, they have you as underdogs in just 3 games, okay? At Illinois, which is coming up, but you're only 2-point underdogs. They may or may not have Terrence Shannon available for that game, one of the best players in the Big Ten. Wisconsin, when you hit the road to Madison, I know they took care of us at Breslin Center, but the computers say that you were only 0.3 underdogs in that game, and then the Purdue game still like a touchdown and a 2-point conversion underdogs for that game as well. But hey, not bad. Let's plug in all the games Michigan State is supposed to win, all the games that they're supposed to lose, and then I just threw in 2 wins in the Big Ten tournament and then a loss to Purdue. Okay, that spits out a 25-9 record on BartTorvik.com, which gets you a 3 seed. A 3 seed. I want to say that, a 3 seed. I was one of these people panicked about the tournament not too long ago, but things have certainly changed. Now, will that happen? No, of course not. There are always upsets in college basketball, but let's say that it gets chalk for a little bit here. Michigan State looking at a 3 seed. Just two really super quick notes I want to hit on before we get to our conversation with Alessio and Ivan Milivojevic. Chris Bogle, he's back, coming back to the team next year. Just played in 7 games last year at the defensive end position, 14 tackles last year, no forced fumbles, 1.5 sacks. So, again, former top 60 recruit. This is what he was billed as when he transferred here from Florida, who may or may not have wanted him back in the transfer portal. But he's coming back to Michigan State. And also, I know we're way ahead of the college football season right now, but I already have my best bet for your wallet in 2024. It is Wyoming team total unders for the entire year. And would you look at this? This just came across my feed. Jay Johnson was hired as the Wyoming Cowboys offensive coordinator. That's I'll just act like that's a coincidence of why that's my best bet. All right, gang, we're going to be back here with our 2 fine guests, Ivan and Alessio Milivojevic. But first, need to talk your ear off about FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. You don't even have to sweat winning or losing, looking at the spreads. No. You just take your hard-earned $5 and turn it into an easy-earned $150 in bonus bets. Win or lose. The app is super easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. If you want to go ahead and make a parlay that the whole gang is in on, go to the Parlay Hub, the best place to find popular parlays. There's always so much more over at FanDuel. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. It's FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Also need to talk your ear off about Gametime, the greatest ticketing app in the world. You're going to be blown away by how easy and convenient this app is to use. And also blown away with the deals that they have. We're talking flash deals. Just hop on in the middle of the week, a few days before your game or your concert or your theatrical performance, and you're going to find some flash deals with great seats at Gametime. Or if you're the procrastinator type, like I am, just when you're walking into the stadium or the concert hall, check out the tickets they have there. They have the last-minute deals that are second to none in the business. And, well, they're saving you money on the flash deals, the last-minute ticket deals, and they also want to save you money just right off the bat. When you go to Gametime, use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. That's all one word, promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your tickets at Gametime. So download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, let's get to Ivan and Alessio Milivojevic. This is a big one, and it's also 2 for the price of 1. We have Alessio, we have Ivan joining the mix. Gang, how on earth are we doing over there this holiday week?
I'm doing great, How about you?
Fantastic.
I'm doing good for now, right now. And look, this is the biggest question we're going to kick things off with, because I like to think that we do some things okay on this show. One of those things is not pronunciating last names correctly. So, for the first question, gentlemen, how on earth do you pronounce your last name?
What's it?
It's Milivojevic.
Milivojevic. I am so sorry for how I said your last name when you actually committed and signed to Michigan State, because it did not come out as Milivojevic. So, thank you very much for clearing that up.
A lot of people mix it up because the J is like a Y, and when you read it, you say it as a J, but it's really, you say like a Y.
Man, okay, this is going to save me here, because, look, I was thrilled when you committed to Michigan State, but I saw the last name, and I nearly collapsed. I was like, this is going to give me some hard times here in the next few years. So what's the worst anyone's ever tried to say that name?
I mean, like most people, like sometimes over the announcement when we're at opposing schools, Milivojevic is most.
Oh, yeah.
Milivojevic or anything where they're just saying the J, like the real J, is like what most people pronounce it as. No one ever gets it right the first time.
We have had some pretty educated announcers, though, that do a pretty good job. Sterling was one of them. I mean, I don't know. They must have practiced, but they had really good media coverage and announcers, game announcers, and they had it perfectly. So I was like, I don't know where they got it, but let's run with it.
Wow. Look at them go. So I'm going to try my best here moving forward here, but let's get into the serious questions here. And Ivan, I want to kick it off with you, actually.
Sure.
When did you realize that Alessio was not just like a solid quarterback, but holy crap, a Division I level talent? Was it early in his life, or was this a recent development?
Honestly, it truly was earlier in his life. I would say by like 6th, 7th grade, I had a feeling. I knew he loved football. I knew he was all in. I mean, he literally started playing quarterback at 4 years old. He played flag football, and he was throwing it around, had a great arm. And then he started playing tackle when he was 6 years old. And I'll never forget it. I was the head coach, and we're out there running routes on air. And I had some of the other coaches that were in the older groups like, hey, man, why are you guys running routes on air? I'm like, well, I don't know, because we can.
Right.
And I would say, we ran, spread offense at a young age, shotgun, spread offense. He's got a couple of youth teammates that are going to some big-time schools as well, and they were part of the team. So it helped to have the skill guys to kind of go along with it. But 6th, 7th grade, I kind of had a feeling. But then I really, really had a really good feeling when he was like a freshman and going into sophomore year. He took a huge jump, and I kind of had a real good feeling that he was going to be, a Division I quarterback.
And you were for a few months. You were committed to Ball State, and look, just being a commit for a Group of 5 team, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But notching it up to a Power 5 school like Michigan State, when did you, Alessio, realize that, okay, I'm more than just a Group of 5 quarterback. I'm actually that next step above a Division I Power 5 quarterback as well?
Yeah, personally, I always thought it. Obviously, I'm very confident in myself. I felt like I could play Power 5. But then when Michigan State came through and offered me, it really just reassured that feeling. And, I had to take a couple weeks to process it, get to see it, go meet the coaches. I'm not just going to jump the boat right away because it's Power 5. But,
yeah,
they really assured me that, I am a Power 5 quarterback and I do belong here. And I'm just excited about it.
Because I'm just fascinated how that all went down, because this had to have felt rapid for you guys. When was the first time Jonathan Smith reached out to you guys? Was it beginning of December, or was he even in contact with you back in his Oregon State days?
No, it was the beginning of December. First time they ever heard from him.
Unbelievable. That's got to be nuts. So
very fast.
From first contact to visiting campus, like how much space was between that? Was it just a day or two, or what are we looking at here for timeline?
It was about a week. I think they offered me a week before I visited, and they wanted to get me up right away, and I visited, and yeah.
Man, look at that. Ivan, were you able to go on that visit with Alessio? Do you remember anything that really stuck out to you?
I was, and it happened so quick again. I think he was offered on Thursday, and we had talked to Coach Lindgren on a Saturday. The day he landed in East Lansing, he reached out to Alessio. And that kind of got the ball rolling. They showed up at the school that Tuesday. Then that Thursday, he was offered. Then they did a home visit that following Tuesday. And then the next thing you know, we're in East Lansing on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Quick work, man. That's unbelievable.
In about a 2-week span. But what I want to kind of real quick about the process, right? Alessio had early offers from Ole Miss and Nebraska.
Okay.
And, you know how things change in college football. Staffs get, different staff, and, the staff at Nebraska, the original staff loved them, wanted them. Next thing you know, it's a new staff. Ole Miss was there. A couple of other ones. Tulane was probably they also came later in the game, and, we went out to Tulane, loved it. Distance was an issue for us. Because I coach and I have a younger son, so getting out to the games, and then, so yeah, making that decision with Ball State there was a couple of reasons for it, but yes, in our minds, everybody knew. I think a lot of people knew in the Chicagoland and Illinois that he was a Power 5, a Big Ten quarterback, and we're just thankful that Michigan State was able to evaluate him so quickly and make a move on him.
And Alessio, this is always my favorite question to ask commits with an incoming class. But during that visit, or maybe even after the visit, when was that moment, or what was the moment where you really realized that, okay, Michigan State is going to be it here?
Yeah, when I was in Coach Lindgren's office, like the offensive office, we were going through film for about maybe an hour and a half. It was a long session, but he was pulling up clips, and pretty much near every single clip, I was like, yeah, we do something like this. We have something like this. This is like next level stuff. It's pro style. We're calling in the plays. We're doing big play action. We're RPO. We're doing everything in the book. And I think it just really clicked right there that the offense is meant for me. It's built for me, and I really want to go there and play in this offense.
And you can make it work throwing to Nick Marsh. That's going to be okay on your end? Okay. All right. Just want to double check that. Perfect. Now, Ivan, you're not just Alessio's father. You're also a coach at St. Francis. You're the JV head coach, also the quarterback's coach as well.
Yep.
What was the biggest step Alessio has taken from junior year to this awesome senior year that he had for St. Francis as far as quarterback play goes?
To be honest, I think the biggest jump for us was sophomore to junior year.
Okay.
I think that sophomore to junior year, he was always a bigger kid. Just his mobility and his confidence just kind of peaked. And he went from, he was about 180 pounds. Next thing you know, he's 200. This year, he's playing at 215,
Gotcha.
6'3", 215, 220-ish right now. Just his mobility and then his just overall confidence. I feel like the game has always been slow to him in a way because he's a pretty smart kid and his football IQ is off the charts. But I just feel like that jump, to your point, that junior to senior year, I think it just went into slow-mo. And he had complete control of everything that we were doing on offense, from calling protections to calling audibles to you name it. He was running the offense.
That's pretty easily reflected too in the highlight tape and also just on paper as well, because I think I have you down for 500 touchdowns your senior year and just 4 interceptions, like something crazy like that. You really balled out your senior year. But what is your style of play? Like, do you have a quarterback you look up to, kind of like I want to play like him, or are you just trying to play like Alessio over there?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously I want to play like me, but if I had to say a quarterback, I'm like Josh Allen for sure. He's a bigger guy. He can run. He can get first downs on third down. He can score those touchdowns, run someone over, but he has a huge arm, makes every throw on the field. He's a gunslinger. He takes a little bit of risk. He'll throw an interception here and there, but then he'll make an insane play where you're like, no one else can do that. And I think that I'm very similar to that. I could get out of the pocket, make something happen, extend plays, and throw the ball in the pocket just as good as anyone.
I'm glad you said that, because when I'm watching your tape, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I bet he watches some Buffalo Bills football. I bet he's tuning into Josh Allen every now and then, because I'm seeing a little bit of it down in Illinois right now. That's awesome.
Yep.
Now, going back to the Ball State commitment, like this is obviously probably, I'm going to just speak for you right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe the hardest part of the whole process. 100%. But Ivan, before I get to Alessio, how did he handle it, you see? Like, what impressed you the most about, okay, you're with Ball State forever, and then, the last few weeks, Michigan State comes knocking. How did he handle that in your opinion?
Alessio is very mature. He handled the majority of his – I honestly, when I tell you this, 15 Division I offers, I don't think I really spoke to any of the coaches at any point. He handled all the communications throughout the recruiting process. And we did that as a family because I wanted the coaches to also know that he's mature and can handle those conversations. So he handled those conversations with Ball State like an adult. And was very truthful and honest with them as things transpired. And I was the most impressed, just his ability to do that and not shy away with it. I mean, anybody else would have ran away from that conversation, but he didn't. Yeah. He handled it appropriately. And in return, they were very respectful and very appreciative of the way he handled his business with them. So there was no hard feelings as far as we know.
If I was in high school, I would have just tweeted out, hey, I'm decommitting and not talking to anyone else. So that's good on you to take the higher road and do everything right. But is that safe to say that's been the hardest part of the process? Or is there something else that is even like a close second place to being that difficult this whole journey?
No, I think that's for sure the first place, by far. I mean, it was hard to be committed to a place so long, build those relationships, and then get this opportunity so late. It's obviously a decision I had to make. Opportunity is hard to pass, but, it was a hard decision to make. And just making those phone calls and texts and letting them know that I'm not going there anymore and that I have another school recruiting me was for sure the hardest part.
And moving on to the staff, you're now committed to. Alessio, I'll keep it with you right now. What is Jonathan Smith like? What is the head coach like? Because I've never talked to him. I aspire to one day, but let's be honest, he's got better things to do than hop on Locked On Spartans. So by proxy, I'll ask you, what is he like? What's it like talking with him? Yeah,
so starting with Coach Lindgren, he's a cool guy. He came to the school. He did a home visit. He really made me a priority and made me feel like, he wants me. He's a new staff. He had no idea who they were recruiting before, what they had going on. And he chose me right away. And, he's a really cool guy. And then Coach Smith, he's a really calm-mannered guy, cool guy along with him. Got to talk with him in his office, joke around, just got really comfortable with him pretty quick. And, yeah.
That's awesome. There we go. And Ivan, I mean, have you been able to talk to any of the coaches? I know you just said that you've really kept it between Alessio and the coaches, but have you been able to converse at all with them?
Yeah, I have. Coach Lindgren at his home visit. I had never met him until the home visit. And right away, I run a business. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I felt really comfortable with them. It's a younger group of guys too. These guys, I mean, they're younger than me, and I'm 47. So, I felt very comfortable with them right away. And then Coach Smith right away, the first day on our official visit, he sat down with us at breakfast, and I could tell right away that he truly cared about not only building the program, but his players. I could just tell he was a very personable, caring coach that, family orientated, both of them. They both have younger kids, and it spoke volumes to us. And, we liked everything about it.
Love it. So what's the next steps for you? Are early enrollment in the plans? Or are you going to ride out the rest of your senior year? Or what's next for you?
Yeah. So I actually go to campus. I'm leaving the night of the 5th, and I show up the 6th, move in, and get everything rolling.
And Dad, how you feeling about that? The kid's already off to college halfway through senior year.
Honestly, he's again, and I keep saying it, he's very mature. I could tell the minute. I mean, he's got a 4.3 out of 4 GPA at a private school. So,
Jesus.
So and his curriculum was crazy, and he set himself up for this, and we knew all along. I would say when he got his first offer, which was sophomore year, this was the plan, and thank God that it's worked out this way. There's no concerns because I feel like we've prepared him for this. He's prepared himself for this. It's just another step in his goals. And, we couldn't be more excited for him to get there and get started with the team. And, it's a bonus semester, man. You get to go learn how to be a college kid, learn the playbook, meet your teammates, and get comfortable with everything at East Lansing. And we're excited about it. Now his mom, that's a whole nother conversation. You may want to call her up on the next podcast. But I'm not too concerned about it, and I couldn't be more excited for him.
And let's end it on a broad question here, Alessio. These are always the hardest one to answer, the broad ones. But what are you most excited for when you do get up to East Lansing here in a few weeks?
Yeah, to be honest, right away, I'm actually really excited to get the nutrition plan, the lifting plan in, see how my body changes. Obviously we lift as a team in high school, but it's going to be a different level. I'm going to have a set nutrition plan, a diet to get me bigger, get me stronger. I'm going to have the conditioning in the morning, the lifting in the morning, and just overall just changing my body and looking different than and coming home different than I was before.
I did the same my freshman year. My body transformed in ways you couldn't believe my freshman year, but probably not at the Division I football level that we're all thinking. But Ivan, we'll end it with you. Anything you want to add about Alessio? Anything you want Spartan Nation to know here before we let you go enjoy the rest of your holiday week here?
One thing I want them to know is that this is a kid that's going to work his tail off, and he's also a kid that's very driven. He doesn't drink soda. He doesn't.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like it is football 24/7. He's going to give Michigan State everything he has. He has, along with being a quarterback, he also played linebacker and defensive end. So when he was in the youth level, so you're getting a hard-nosed Chicago kid that's, going to come up there and, hopefully bring some Big Ten titles and some national titles to the Spartans.
Well, I speak for all Spartan Nation when I say that we're thrilled to have you in the 2024 class. And just from watching the highlight tape, just from, reading the box scores and everything, but now after talking with both of you guys, I mean, it's clear that, we got the goods coming up to East Lansing. So congratulations, and hey, thanks for coming to Michigan State. This is great. So awesome.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Thanks for having us.
No, absolutely, guys. And best of luck with everything in the move-in, the nutrition plan, the weightlifting, all that fun stuff. But hey, gang, until next time, where to keep it tuned. Locked on Spartans, your team of Green White 5 days a week. Love you all. Go Green.
Thank you.